Hey, welcome into another edition of Man 101. Now, I've got a leaky hose problem. Come on now, I'm 50 years old. Get your mind out of the gutter. Not that hose. I've got a leaky garden hose issue, and I'm going to repair my garden hose today. So right above the leak, I'm going to take just a pair of scissors, common scissors, and I'm going to cut right there as square off as I can make it, and then I'm going to cut the end of the hose off so that I can essentially repair it, put the two ends together. So here's the end of the hose. I already cut that off. Now I'm going to put the two ends together. Check it out. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put this thing together. Now, these hose kits, they're only a couple of dollars. You can get them at Home Depot or wherever. They usually have a male end, they usually have a female end, and then they have something to couple two pieces of hose together. That's what I'm going to use. So I cut this in two places. I'm going to put these two pieces of hose together, reattaching the male end to the end that I cut where the leaks were. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lube the hose up. And how am I going to do that? I'm just going to use spit. So if you don't like dirt in your mouth, you probably shouldn't do this, but I don't really care. All right, so now I'm going to slide this in, and it's important, it's hard to get this all the way to the very end so it's flush up against this plastic coupling piece. Okay, so let's just put that all the way together here until it's right up to the edge. See this little edge? I want the hose all the way there. That will assure that it no longer leaks. Okay, so we're just going to keep twisting it on there with my pliers, with the hose. Make sure that we just work this thing all the way up so that we can keep this hose from leaking. Almost got it. See how it's pretty close to being flush? Already cut my thumb while I was doing it. That's part of being a man though. Sometimes you need to cut yourself, get a little blood going. That's the challenge, baby. Let me see if I can kind of just hammer it the rest of the way on. All right, there we go. So now it's pretty flush up against there. You can see that. Now what we do is we put this, now watch, this is important. See this end? Open end, closed end. The closed end goes over the edge right there, flush up against there to really pinch it in tight. So here we go. Now we're going to get this thing screwed on there and make sure that it's nice and tight as we do this. So, all right, I'm going to put this screw in first, not all the way in because it'll make it completely uneven. And let me grab my other screw. Okay. And this fix essentially cost me about $2 and a bloody knuckle, as you can see. All right, so we got that part down. Now let's put the male end. Again, little spit there. That always works nicely. See if we can get this thing on there. This end will be a little bit easier. I'm anticipating, maybe not. That could be stupid on my part for saying it. It's a kiss of death, right? That this should be easier. How stupid am I? Well, I'm not smart. I guarantee you that. But I'm not afraid to work. Okay, one more twist here and we should be pretty flush. Okay, two more twists. Okay, there you see it, pretty flush up against there. All right, so now then, all right, one more twist just for good. There, that one's tight. You see it? Flush up against there. Now let's put this bad boy on. All right, so again, the closed end, the open end goes out to the hose. Closed end pinches this connection so that it's nice and tight and no longer leaks. Okay, so here we go. We'll get it on there over there we go, just like that. Now then, we're just gonna cinch this thing down again. Okay, nice. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. There's that. I guess I could have put these together so they're not off-centered, right? All right, hold on. Let me, because that would be the first thing my wife would complain about, right? She'd be like, oh my God, you fixed the hose, but the things aren't on evenly. Don't tell her I said that. But you know that's exactly what would happen. Okay, so we've lined these bad boys up. There, that should work. So now, let's screw them down tight. And then we don't have to listen to the fact that they weren't lined up correctly, because everybody knows when you're working with a garden hose, you better have it lined up properly, otherwise it's just not aesthetically pleasing. And then you can't sleep at night because you're thinking, oh my gosh, my hose, what if the neighbors see it? Of course, I'm using sarcasm to get my point across. All right, so here we go. All right, the moment of truth. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put this on, this little. All right, here we go. Now then, wait a minute, can we see that? Hold on, let me just adjust this camera. I'm going to go turn on the water and let's see if this thing leaks or not, okay? You ready? I'll be right back. Hang tight. Huh? What do you think? And look. Looky there. No leaks. You see it? Not leaking. Man 101, hose repair. You're welcome.